Good afternoon, everyone. The next session is now on open source storage monitoring, right time to contribute by Mr. Najmuddin. He's a system architect at Huawei Technologies. He's accompanied by Sahil Raja, software engineer at Maya Data, and Abhishek Agarwal, software engineer at Maya Data. So let's welcome them. Over to you, sir.
Today in this session, we will discuss about open source storage monitoring. This is the right time to contribute. So I'm Najmuddin. I'm currently an architect in Huawei Technologies. I'm also a maintainer of Linux Foundation project called Soda Foundation. With me, uh, some new engineers joining. They are also open source contributors, Abhishek and Sahil. Abhishek and Sahil, you can introduce yourself. We are starting this, and before we go into the details of monitoring, I would like to just have a glance to the modern data center. If you see a modern data center, we can divide that into layers. We would divide that into physical layer, virtual layer, and a management layer. Where in the physical layer, the servers, storage, networking elements become part of the physical layer. Here comes the networking topologies. Like you have in your data center, you have a LAN, you have a storage area network to connect to your storage and servers, right? On top of that, we built some virtual layer. Like from servers, we create VMs. We create software defined storage from the underlying backend storage. We also create software defined networking like VLANs, right? On top of this, we need a management layer where uh, the the provisioning, the storage management, orchestration, automation. So all this comes into the management layer, right? So what is the main pain points in infrastructure management? If you see a storage infrastructure, in this discussion, we will mostly talk about the storage infrastructure. A storage infrastructure is so complex that so many switches, servers, storages are connected together with different topologies, different technologies, different tools to manage them, right? And what we need to manage is, if we are not managing it, there will be low resource utilization. We wanted to utilize the resource in an effective way. We wanted to make recycling of resources, like unused volume we wanted to reclaim, right? And we wanted a very efficient fault detection. Without management, now the fault detection is very inefficient. There are many other aspects of it. And here we see a data center infrastructure management maturity model, which is currently in the companies, how they placed in the DCAM maturity model. If you see, uh, probably we can classify this into 5 categories, where the level 1 is the basic infrastructure, where there is no monitoring system or just basic monitoring systems. And level 2 is with the software installer to monitor some equipments. uh, Level 3 is a little bit proactive, like uh, the environment status can be obtained before they occur, like the events are uh, captured before they occur and proactively act on it. So that can be classified as the proactive management. Level 4 is the optimizing management, like where we have multiple IT infrastructure subsystem integrated and they work together and uh, predict the events and optimize it according to the events that is going to happen. And the fifth one is a self-optimizing or autonomic infrastructure, where you monitor, you predict, and based on the events, you act upon it, right? You self-optimize and self-correct your infrastructure. And currently, we are into, I mean, the companies are mostly into the first three levels of DCIM. Like either they are basic or reactive or proactive. Companies wanted to move into optimizing or an autonomic way of managing the infrastructure. So, an autonomic way of managing or self-optimizing infrastructure needs monitoring, right? You need to monitor your infrastructure. So that monitoring is called telemetry. Like you wanted to collect data from a remote system, or your devices are placed in different locations. You wanted to get some data from that to monitor, right? So why we need to monitor? Because storage resource management tools are available that may be invaluable for the organization to simplify and optimize, right? And why do we need a consolidated or a single platform for telemetry? Because every vendor has monitoring and reporting software for visualizing and analyzing. But what we need is a single platform which can monitor heterogeneous systems. And there are different metrics we capture: capacity, performance, configuration. So these all needs to be monitored. And monitoring, it doesn't stops at on-prem, right? Nowadays we see need for cloud native monitoring. All, I mean, application hosting is moving into a cloud-based hosting. So the telemetry is an essential part of a cloud native environment. Why? Because you don't have the luxury of debugging your application on your workstation when it is hosted in the cloud. Your app instance can move from one location to other, or you may be starting with one instance of your app, and after some time, based on the demand, hundreds of your copies of your application instances are running in different location. And your application may be communicating with hundreds of components or endpoints when the workload moves from edge to the storage, right? So the essential part of cloud native environment management is cloud native telemetry. Here we are going to see some of the observability stack in the cloud native solutions. The CNCF Foundation has already some monitoring platforms and monitoring stack. There are different solutions. I would like to just discuss some famous monitoring systems. Prometheus is very famous for an open source system for monitoring. And we will be discussing about Prometheus in coming slides. Jaeger is another open source end-to-end distributed tracing platform. Jaeger mostly concentrate on the transaction-based metric capturing and analysis. OpenTelemetry is another project under CNCF, which is basically a framework, a vendor-neutral framework or a standard for instrumenting data from different devices, and it can work with other monitoring platforms seamlessly. There are many monitoring platforms. We will be discussing about some monitoring platforms, and an opportunity in the open source world to contribute to a heterogeneous unified way of monitoring. So with that, I I hand over to Abhishek and Sahil to discuss about uh, some of the I mean production ready or realized uh, monitoring applications with OpenEBS. So over to you, Abhishek and Sahil.
Thanks, Nazmuddin. So I am actually going to be representing OpenEBS, but OpenEBS itself is like a huge community-driven project with around 50 plus active maintainers and more than 200 plus contributors. Here are a couple of GitHub coordinates through which one can check out OpenEBS and how to monitor it. With that said, before we get into the details of OpenEBS and its monitoring, I think it's worth spending a little bit of time understanding about container attached storage, because like since it is the fundamental building block of OpenEBS. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So container attached storage is like a software that includes microservices based storage controllers that are orchestrated by Kubernetes. These storage controllers can run anywhere that Kubernetes can run, which means any cloud or even bare metal servers or on top of traditional shared storage systems. Uh, so actually in container attached storage, the data itself is accessed via containers. So this actually gives you a picture of how an application team, how they build their application using UI and an API, and then there are a set of microservices, and you don't try to put all the data of all the microservices into a single type of DB. Sometimes you may need a cache service like Redis, or you may want to put for longer persistent like MongoDB. So you need this choice basically to ensure that you are building the right tools. But if we forfeit the application to use the existing tools, then that can sometimes lead to trunkiness and maintenance, and even to developer frustration. So one thing, this concept of container attached storage started with Docker and Kubernetes that have become popular now. So CAS is actually built on Kubernetes for Kubernetes, and it extends Kubernetes in some way to run the state. You can go on to the next slide. Yeah. So now to understand what OpenEBS is and what problems it really solves for the users, this is a reference architecture of storage stack for all cloud native workloads that was presented by CNCF. And OpenEBS just sits above the storage systems or like the physical hardwares. And it basically has two components called as control plane and data engines, which are responsible for providing the volume services. So it can be anything from aggregating the storage from devices and presenting it as volumes, or performing some snapshot or clone like capabilities. OpenEBS supports local and replicated block storage. Local storage includes host device, raw file Jiva, uh, raw file ZFS LVM, whereas replicated block volumes are Jiva, CStore, and MyStore. uh, OpenEBS is like highly integrated into Kubernetes, and it is in fact like a Kubernetes add-on. And the control plane of OpenEBS helps us to integrate the operational aspects of it into the platform or tools that the enterprise are already using. Now, if we look at the technology radar, storage actually means device platforms that actually need some kind of underlying block volumes or persistent volumes when in Kubernetes world, to that have some capabilities like availability, consistency, durability, and how easy it is to use. We can move on to the next slide. So now coming on to as to why it is necessary or why we need to monitor the storage devices. Uh, when dealing with such complex storage solutions, diagnosing the root cause of performance bottlenecks can be challenging when like multiple uh, tiers of technology stack depend on such storage devices and systems. It can be difficult to initially assess whether the slowdown is related to storage or some other system component. Um Therefore, storage monitoring can help us assess the available required storage capacity to ensure adequate resources for performance optimization. It can also help us to keep a check on the performance and health of the device ports, controllers, and physical disks, along with the density of I/O traffic on those disks and the slowdowns occurring on the physical disk during some read-write operations. So all these can be and is measured with the help of metrics, which include like latencies, throughput and utilization, IOPS, and available capacity. So storage monitoring can provide us with a lot of benefits. It offers improved visualization to the IT staff, literally through an unified interface or some dashboard, which provides us with the visualization of how the storage operations are performing, both in real time as well as in the long run. Also, this can help with the help of monitoring. We can optimize the storage devices, which will ultimately benefit the end users uh, through reduced latencies and increased throughput. Also, look at the available capacity can help the IT departments get more advanced warning when it comes to storage capacity. It can also help us to prevent data failures or data losses if it would have been not possible without monitoring. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to my colleague Sahil Raja, who will be going to provide us with a in-depth understanding of how OpenABS monitoring is done and some of its use cases.
Thanks, Abhishek. Hi all. This is Sahil, and let me first introduce myself. So, I'm a software engineer at MyData, and I am one of the maintainer of OpenVS monitoring project. So, I'm gonna talk about Prometheus monitoring stack, OpenVS monitoring architecture, and some of the use cases of OpenVS monitoring. So, let me start with Prometheus monitoring stack. So Prometheus monitoring stack is basically a combination of tools, open source tools to build up a monitoring system. It mainly is comprised of three main components, that is Prometheus, Grafana, and Alert Manager. So Prometheus is an open source metric based monitoring system. Uh, it is essentially a collection and analysis tools which collects and stores the metrics as time series data. So for visualization, it has Grafana. So Grafana is an open source data visualization and data visualization tool which allows you to query, visualize, and understand the metrics. For warning and alerts, it has Alert Manager. So Alert Manager handles alerts that is pushed from Prometheus, and it turns them into a notification, which can be notifications such as email or a text message through Slack. So you can move to the next slide, please. So coming to the OpenVS monitoring architecture. So OpenVS monitoring architecture, we have used Prometheus monitoring stack and have built custom exporters. So as Abhishek mentioned, OpenVS has two types of volume, that is local volumes and replicated volumes. But like these volumes have similar kind of architecture. They have two components, that is control plane and data engines. In control plane, there are two components, that is cluster component and node components. So within this component, we have our metrics exporter that runs in it. So coming to the question, what is the exporter? Basically, exporter is a piece of software that that is deployed right beside the application. Uh, so so we want to deploy it right beside the application from which we want to obtain the metrics. So it basically exports the different metrics from the application. How it does is like when a request comes from Prometheus, it gathers all the data from the application. It transforms them into a correct format, and then it returns them as a response to Prometheus. So once we have this metrics exporter running, then Prometheus needs to know where these metrics are and what they need to monitor. So it therefore does automatic service discovery with the help of service monitors to figure out what they need to monitor. This is called service discovery. So after service discovery, Prometheus has a lot of targets they need to monitor. So we can see over here in the Prometheus server, we have three main components, that is retrieval, time series database, HTTP server. So retrieval is the component that is responsible for pooling or scraping metrics from external sources, and it scrape those metrics and push them into a storage as a time series data. So how it does is like it does it via HTTP call, which is called a scrape, and the response of these scrapes are pushed in the storage. So there is also a PromQL, which is a Prometheus querying language, which is used by Grafana or Alert Manager to query the metrics that is stored in Prometheus. So for that, Prometheus has several APIs that you may need, that you might use to get the raw data and evaluate those PromQL queries. So once we have these metrics scraped and stored in the storage, then we want to visualize or get some warning based on the metrics. So for visualization purpose, we have Grafana, through which we can build different dashboards. And for warning purpose, we have Alert Manager. So we can define a threshold limits as per our requirement. So suppose you want to have an alert for CPU or memory consumption being too high. So as soon as that threshold is reached, then Prometheus server push that alert in the Alert Manager, which is called active alerts, and we can easily see them via the Alert Manager UI. And inside Alert Manager, those alerts can be turned turned into a notification, which we can either get through email or a Slack message. So this is the overall architecture of OpenVS monitoring. And now so how we implemented it? So we have built a one-stop solution for users. So basically, to install all the components of OpenVS monitoring, user only need to run one helm install command, and the all components like dashboards, service monitor, alert rules, config maps, those are installed. So we can see here we have different kind of dashboards that is for different cache types: CStore, Jiva, ZFS, LVM, and there are many more such dashboards present in the OpenVS monitoring. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So this is a CStore overview dashboard where we can see like there are memory usage dashboard, CPU usage dashboard, the details of the CStore pool are available. So these piece of informations are actually helpful to storage administrator, where like they can easily see the storage growth or storage usage over an interval of time. So as I said earlier, we have used help for OpenVS monitoring, but we have also implemented it using JSONet. So what is JSONet? JSONet is basically a functional programming language which allows you to like build higher order abstraction over your configurations. So in JSONet, we can see like we have two dependencies. One is kubeprometheus and another is OpenEBS mixin. So kubeprometheus here is basically our Prometheus monitoring stack, and OpenEBS mixin is a bunch of we can say it is a bunch of Grafana dashboard and Prometheus rules. So what is OpenEBS mixin? So in Kubernetes, there is a concept of monitoring mixins, which contains all the Grafana dashboard Prometheus rules for monitoring purpose. So similar to that, we have OpenEBS mixins, which is a package of configuration containing Prometheus rules, Prometheus alerts, and Grafana dashboard. So user can easily install them in their already existing kubeprometheus stack. Can you? Yeah. So coming to our next topic, that is OpenEBS monitoring use cases. So there are several use cases of OpenEBS monitoring, but I'm going to talk about like the most recent ones that we have worked upon. So we have created a dashboard for stateful workload. So how it is helpful. So suppose a user is using OpenEBS as a persistent volume for stateful workloads, and like we don't know the underlying device that it is using. There might be thousands of nodes, and the replicas might be even about 10 to 20. So it is extremely difficult to go inside each node and figure out which application is using which storage. And after figuring it out, we'll have to go inside the node and again run iostat command to get all the metrics. So to overcome this, we have created a dashboard. Like we created a custom exporter through which we created a dashboard. And like this, within this dashboard, application developer can select an application or workload, and they can easily visualize the storage usage or disk utilization, disk throughputs, IOPS, number of outstanding IOs, and many more. Such information are available. So like application developer can easily visualize the storage growth or some storage issue without knowing the underlying storage that is being used. So this is one of the most important use case for stateful workloads, like checking the application performance and all. So coming to the next use case is LVM. So LVM is basically logical volume management, which manages file system and volumes. So it has three types. It mainly consists of three types. It consists of three categories, you can say, that is logical volume, volume groups, and physical volumes. So it has a support of like it support thin provisioning. So thin provisioning means like it can allocate disk space to user on demand basis. So how much space a user needs at any given time, they can allocate it. So in OpenEBS, we have a support for LVM. That project is OpenEBS LVM local PV, and this thin provisioning can actually create a problem. So when a LVM thin pool gets filled up, so it may create overcommitting issue. So it will overcommit the physical storage if it is not monitored. So in LVM local PV, we have created a custom exporter, where we get the metrics, and we have using those metrics, we have created a dashboards and some warnings. So storage administrator can get those warnings as soon as the LVM thin pool starts getting filled up. So we can see here we have this LVM thin pool capacity low alert. So once a threshold limit is reached, this warning can be easily viewed in the alert manager UI and can be turned into a notification, which can be viewed as a mail. So this is also one of the most important monitoring use case, OpenEBS monitoring use case. So like storage monitoring is really helpful to storage administrator. They can actually watch the storage growth or storage usage over an interval of time. So yeah. This is how we have implemented OpenVS monitoring, and it is really helpful for our users. So over to you, Nazmuddin.
Thanks, Sahil and Abhishek. That was a good insight into how OpenEBS used the monitoring stack, open source monitoring stacks like Prometheus Alert Manager, and Grafana to realize the OpenEBS storage monitoring. Here, I would like to introduce another open source project, which is an actively developed project under Soda Foundation. The project name is Delphin, which is an open source infrastructure monitoring and alerting framework. I would like to give some introduction of this Delphin. Just an overview. It is a Soda Foundation project for infrastructure monitoring. Delphin is currently focusing on resource alert and performance data collection from the infrastructure for any O&M platform to help optimize the data center management. So that is the area where Delphin is focused now, on-prem data center data collection. The unique value what Delphin provides is a unified model of heterogeneous devices. Delphin has its own model for representing resources, for representing alert, for representing performance metrics. So the user of Delphin need not worry about the device specific models or terms, right? So the Delphin is an abstraction over other monitoring tools, and Delphin gives a unified model. Delphin is also planning to enhance the support of observability in the cloud native environment. So I would like to give a conceptual architecture overview of Delphin. So Delphin framework, if you see, Delphin framework has a task manager, an alert manager, a resource manager, and a driver manager. So in the driver manager, device drivers or device collection drivers can be connected. So different vendor device models will have different drivers in Delphin. For example, to collect data from a EMC device, we will have a EMC Vmax driver for collecting from Vmax model. Similarly for other devices. And what Delphin does is the user can configure the device for monitoring. So Delphin provides a REST interface for the user to interact with the Delphin and configure the device for monitoring. Once the device is configured, Delphin periodically schedule collection from these devices through the task manager. The periodically collected data are the resource data, the metadata of the resources are stored inside DB, and the real-time data like alert and performance are pushed out from Delphin through an exporter interface. So any exporter can be connected to Delphin. By default, we use a Prometheus exporter, where the collected data is fed into a Prometheus exporter, a Delphin Prometheus exporter, and the data will be pushed to Prometheus. Similarly, any other third-party exporters can be connected. Alert is a real-time collection. When the alert is, when an event occurred on the infrastructure, a trap will be received by the alert manager, and the same will be unified according to the Delphin model and pushed outside. So this is an overall view of Delphin. Now, Delphin is currently supporting different devices, resource, performance, alert monitoring. Delphin is planning to expand into the cloud native world. So for that, we have done some analysis, and some of the analysis we did is in the Kubernetes world, the CSI observability has some pain points. Like there are many exporters available for container storage monitoring, but the Kubernetes admin want to see a collated view of characteristics. Like in CSI, you have persistent volume claim from the container side, and this volume is actually reside as a len in your storage backend. So a combined view of this is required to have an end-to-end troubleshooting. Similarly, the CSI storage class, and it will have an underlying storage pool in the storage backend. You wanted to connect it and compare the storage class and underlying storage pools. Also, the end-to-end topology should be visualized and should be able to troubleshoot from node to the disk in the backend, right? So this collated view is a requirement, and Delfin can play a role here. So we will see how Delfin can play a role here. So some of the other use cases we see is when we go into a level 4 or level 5 DCIM model of infrastructure managing, right? You need to analyze or predict the events from the storage infrastructure. So Kubernetes admins or storage admins wanted to predict some failures, want to predict capacity usages. They wanted to see some situation which has to be watched, like pool almost full, storage required, some anomalies which are occurring in the environment. So to help this, there is a discussion going on in the Delfin project to expand Delfin into the container storage monitoring. And currently, Delfin monitors the storage infrastructure. The storage is in the container orchestration platform. The storage is integrated into the container orchestration platform using a control plane. It can be a CSI layer. So Delfin can have a SODA CSI topology collector, which collects the information about CSI PV and PVCs, which can give to Delfin, and Delfin can have the relation building. Also, just like all other monitoring stack, Prometheus and Grafana can be used for visualizing the collected data. There can be an intelligent analysis module. There is already a POC done with the Delfin, where the Delfin collected metrics are fed into a machine learning platform for analyzing. This can be enhanced to provide some alerts or some information to the control plane for taking predictive actions. This is the proposal, and there are a lot of opportunities in this monitoring place, where we have, I mean, in the open source and in Delfin, we have an opportunity of expanding drivers for supporting different devices. We have opportunity in writing exporters to different platforms. We have opportunities to write analysis or machine learning algorithms to predict some anomalies or some situation using Delfin collected data. We also have opportunities to realize the SODA CSI topology collector. So with that, I'm going to end my session, and I would like to invite all the open source lovers and developers to contribute into SODA Foundation and SODA Foundation's monitoring project Delfin. Here is the link. Yeah, so with that, I would like to end my session, and thanks if there is any questions, we can take it.
Thank you, Najmuddin. Thank you, Abhishek, and thank you, Sahil.